കേരളത്തിലെ DNA-യിലുണ്ട് സുഗന്ധവ്യഞ്ജനത്തിൻ്റെ പെരുമ. നമ്മുടെ നാടിൻ്റെ തലവര മാറ്റിയത് സ്പൈസസിലെ രാജാവായ കുരുമുളകും രാജ്ഞിയായ ഏലവുമല്ലേ. ലോകത്തെവിടെയും ഭക്ഷണത്തെ സുഗന്ധിതമാക്കുന്ന സ്പൈസസിന് സംരംഭക സാധ്യത ആവോളമുണ്ട്. ആ സംരംഭക സാധ്യതയുടെ വിജയത്തിൻ്റെ പേരാണ് കാൻകോർ. കേരളത്തിൻ്റെ രുചിയും മണവും സംരംഭമാക്കിയ കാൻകോർ. ജിമോൻ കോറ, കേരളത്തിന് നമുക്കൊരു സ്പൈസ് റൂട്ടുണ്ട് ഓൾറെഡി അല്ലേ, നമുക്ക് പരമ്പരാഗതമായിട്ട് തന്നെയുണ്ട്. എന്തായിരുന്നു ആക്ച്വലി നിങ്ങളുടെ മുമ്പിലുണ്ടായിരുന്ന ലക്ഷ്യങ്ങൾ?
ആക്ച്വലി ഇതൊരു 50 വർഷം മുമ്പ് തുടങ്ങിയതല്ല. 1857 ബൈ ഇൻവിറ്റേഷൻ ഓഫ് ദ then Maharaja, the Mariwala family came here. They were called Kanji Murarji at that point of time. അവരിവിടെ വന്ന് സ്പൈസ് ബിസിനസ് എസ്റ്റാബ്ലിഷ് ചെയ്തു ആലപ്പിയിൽ. വല്ലഭദാസ് കാഞ്ചി എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു. അങ്ങനെ അവരുടെ പേരും തന്നെ മരിവാല എന്ന് മാറി. മരി എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ പെപ്പർ, കുരുമുളക്. വാല മീൻസ് ട്രേഡർ. സോ ദേ ബിക്കെയിം ദ മരിവാലാസ് ഫ്രം 1857 വൺസ് ദേ കെയിം ടു കേരള. അവിടുന്ന് തുടങ്ങിയതാണ്. അപ്പം സ്പൈസസ് ഹോൾ സ്പൈസസ് ആയിട്ട് തുടങ്ങി. പിന്നെ അത് പ്രോസസ് സ്പൈസസ്. സോ വല്ലഭദാസ് കാഞ്ചി വാസ് സെറ്റപ്പ് ആസ് ദ ഫസ്റ്റ് സ്പൈസ് പ്രോസസ്സിംഗ് കമ്പനി ഇൻ കേരള, ഇൻ ഇന്ത്യ ഐ വുഡ് സേ. അവിടുന്ന് ഉള്ള ലെഗസിയാണ് പിന്നെ വാല്യൂ അഡീഷൻ ഇങ്ങനെ ഓരോന്ന് വന്ന് 1969 കാൻകോർ എസ്റ്റാബ്ലിഷ് ചെയ്ത്. അന്ന് ദിസ് വാസ് പാർട്ട് ഓഫ് ബോംബെ ഓയിൽ ഇൻഡസ്ട്രീസ്. കാൻകോർ എന്ന് മാറുന്നത് 1989-90 മെക്കോർമിക്കുമായിട്ടുള്ള ജോയിൻറ്റ് വെഞ്ചർ വരുമ്പോഴാണ് കാൻകോർ എന്നുള്ള പേര് വന്നത്. സോ കാൻ കംസ് ഫ്രം കാഞ്ചി മുരാർജി, ദ ഓൾഡ് ഫാമിലി നെയിം, ആൻഡ് കോർ കംസ് ഫ്രം മെക്കോർമിക്. അങ്ങനെയാണ് കാൻകോർ ഇവിടെ എസ്റ്റാബ്ലിഷ് ചെയ്ത് 1969 ഇവിടെ അങ്കമാലിയിൽ. അന്ന് ഇവിടെ ഒന്നുമില്ല, ബാരൻ ലാൻഡ്, നോ ഇൻഡസ്ട്രിയൽ എസ്റ്റേറ്റ്, നത്തിങ്. Probably one of the first establishments to set up here in industrial estate, but now you can see that this has become almost like the heart of the city itself.
യെസ്. അപ്പം സാർ നേരത്തെ പറഞ്ഞതുപോലെ തന്നെ ഒരു 1988 നമ്മളിത് സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്യുമ്പം എല്ലാ ഇൻഡസ്ട്രിയും പോലെ ഒരു സ്പൈസ് ഇൻഡസ്ട്രിയിൽ ഏറ്റവും ബെസ്റ്റായി മാറണം എന്നുള്ളത് തന്നെയായിരിക്കും. എന്താ ലക്ഷ്യം വെച്ചിട്ട്
1969 എസ്റ്റാബ്ലിഷ് ചെയ്തപ്പം അന്ന് ഓൾമോസ്റ്റ് ഓൾ സ്പൈസസ് were grown here in Kerala. Black pepper, ginger, turmeric, nutmeg, mace, cinnamon, cassia. All of these were grown here. So this is where spice business itself started originally out of India. Almost 4,000-5,000 years ago, when the Arab traders came in and they used the coastal route, and from Arab it used to go to Europe, and then Vasco da Gama, in search of the origin of these spices, landed here in 1400s, and then the spice route was established between Europe, which led to colonialism, which changed the geography of the world, because black pepper is that spice which actually changed the geopolitical geography of the entire world. Christopher Columbus went to US, to the Americas, in search of black pepper. Vasco da Gama, the colonialism, the whole colonialism concept itself started because of that one spice, black pepper. That is the impact of spice in our lives.
Yes. അപ്പം നമുക്ക് ഇത് സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ തന്നെ ഇപ്പം ഒരു എൻഡ് കസ്റ്റമറിലേക്ക് പോകുമ്പോഴോ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഫാമേഴ്സിലേക്ക് പോകുമ്പോഴോ, സോ വാട്ട് വാസ് ദ റിയൽ ബിസിനസ് മോഡൽ കാൻകോർ ഫോക്കസ്ഡ് ഓൺ?
So when you look at spices, now spices is a bulk product. How do you make it more accessible to other parts of the world, reduce the cost of transportation? Logistics has always been one of the biggest factors in our entire value chain. And then you look at the shelf life. Spice as such has a limited shelf life, but once the moment you make it into an extract, an oleoresin, an essential oil, the shelf life extends several times. So you can store it without it losing its volatiles, without it losing its actives. So it's perfect in terms of standardization, shelf life, usability, consistency, and very low contamination with microbials. So in all ways, extracts, oils are far superior to normal spices, because you are adding all these parameters for it to become a more perfect alternate. I would say it's not an alternate, it complements your existing food. So instead of using the raw spices and the ground spices, you are using extracts. And it's absolutely consistent, which is why you go to a fast food in US, you go to the same fast food restaurant in Europe or in Asia or in Japan, they will all taste exactly the same because the components that are used for their seasonings are extracts and oils, which is absolutely consistent.
ഓക്കെ, അതിനിടയിൽ ഒരു ഫ്രാൻസ് ഗ്രൂപ്പായിട്ടുള്ള മെനയുമായിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു അലയൻസ് അല്ലേ, അതിന് കാൻകോറിന് എന്തുമാത്രം ഒരു ഗ്ലോബൽ എക്സ്പാൻഷന് സഹായിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ട്?
So we were the first company in this space to have a joint venture with McCormick, which is the world's largest spice company at that point of time. From 89 to 96 we had this joint venture. They still continue to be our number one customers, I would say. But we had different ideas of expansion, so we moved on and subsequently we set up different divisions, colors, nutraceuticals, personal care, antioxidants, and we have continued to grow. In that sense, we have 8 factories in India today, and we operate in almost 120 countries. Our customers exist in almost 120 countries. So in that journey, what you also probably need to look at is the changing landscape, the regulatory landscape, the challenges that happen in each and every different regions. So we felt that at that point of time, one of our customers, Man was our customer, also one of a very big customer for our mint range of products, approached us and asked us that we are looking for backward integration into agriculture products, spices, mints and all of that. Would you be willing to partner with us? So that's how this discussion started, and today now we are a wholly owned subsidiary of France, Manifi, which is a 154-year-old family-owned company. So there is a legacy there as well. So in terms of our ideologies, we are still family-owned in that sense. Culturally, it is probably one of the most open, easy. This is my 30th year. I am at Kancor, so many of our colleagues here have grown with the organization as the personal aspirations have been met by the organizational aspirations and the growth story of Man Kancor as well. So this is the idea, that when you partner with somebody, 1 plus 1 should never be 2. 1 plus 1 hopefully should be 5. That's the idea. So there are benefits on both sides by doing this kind of collaborations and joint ventures.
Great. Sir, നേരത്തെ സൂചിപ്പിച്ചതുപോലെ തന്നെ when you started from Kerala, അതിൻ്റെ അകത്ത് ഒരുപാട് ഓപ്പർച്യൂണിറ്റീസ് ഉണ്ട്, ബിക്കോസ് ദിസ് ഇസ് ആർ ലാൻഡ്. അതുപോലെ തന്നെ ചലഞ്ചസ് ഉണ്ട് ബീങ് എ ബിസിനസ്. എന്താണ്, വാട്ട് വാസ് ദറ്റ് പോസിറ്റീവ് ആസ്പെക്ട് ഫോർ യു വെൻ യു കൺസിഡർ കേരള ആസ് എ ലാൻഡ് ഓഫ് ബിസിനസ്?
So Kerala, when we came in, as I said, one of the primary things was that all the spices were available in Kerala. So that is straight away point number one. But over the years, what has happened is the spices out of Kerala have been at a very high quality, and therefore it goes directly into culinary applications. You don't need that quality of culinary spice for our extraction. So for value addition, we bring in raw material from different parts of the world. And when we say bring in raw material, it's not just raw materials that are produced in India, but produced in other parts of the world, completely different botanicals which are not part of our regular Indian palate. So what has happened over the years is that we have continued to upgrade technologies, we have continued to upskill our people, and today I would say Kerala has become the processing hub for spices and botanicals in the world. And with the option of bringing in material through the advanced license route, so where you bring in, you do value addition and you export the material, you are creating significantly high employment. At the same time, you are leveraging on your existing capabilities of extraction capabilities, your science, your IP, all of that into this, while also earning foreign exchange for the country and continuing to grow and continuing to set benchmarks as the technological hub for spice processing in the world. That is what has become Kerala today. And that is something which we need to retain to keep our, I would say, leadership position. Because raw material today is cultivated in many other parts of the world. Today one of our largest other areas where raw material is cultivated, you look at Southeast Asia, Indonesia, Vietnam. Vietnam is today the largest producer of black pepper in the world. India used to be, no longer. But we still are the largest exporters of oleoresin black pepper out of India. Similarly, China has grown significantly big in paprika and capsicum, but India continues to retain a certain leadership quality in terms of the quality of products that we make, in terms of the technology that we bring in terms of various solvent systems, understanding of the regulatory global landscape. All of this, I would say Kerala has taken the lead and continues to lead. Okay. This is what sets us apart.
Okay. Considering the overall business ecosystem of Kerala or entrepreneurial ecosystem of Kerala, എങ്ങനെയാണ് ഇവിടുത്തെ ഒരു പോളിസി ചേഞ്ചസും അതുപോലെ തന്നെ സപ്പോർട്ട് ഫ്രം ദി ഗവൺമെൻറ് സിസ്റ്റം കാൻകൂർ പോലൊരു കമ്പനിയുടെ വളർച്ചയ്ക്ക് സപ്പോർട്ട് ചെയ്തിരിക്കുന്നത്?
In any business relationship or any even in a personal relationship, in a marriage, there are ups and downs. Yeah. That doesn't mean that you walk away from it. So you need to hold on. Yeah. There is a certain commitment both ways. And I don't see a lack of commitment from the government, and therefore we are also committed to being here, and we are continuing to expand. In the last 5 years, we have put in over 500-600 crores into the organization, and as you walk around, you will see the new technologies, the innovation center, probably one of the largest in the world in terms of naturals. That's here, nearly 25,000-30,000 square feet. You will have an opportunity to visit that. And as you walk, you will see all the new technologies that have come in, not just in terms of product technologies, but even in terms of process technologies, right down to the boiler systems, which is 100% biomass. So, it's self-sustainable. We use very little of fossil fuel, solar power, biomass. And this is not yesterday or today. It's been going on for the last, I would say, 35-40 years. Yeah. So, yeah, relationships are ups and downs. But as long as we have a mutual understanding and respect for one another, it will work.
Okay. So you told that you started from Kerala, but now it's extended to many other states also. What is the future plan of Kancor? Because for the last 50 years, we have done many things in this spice industry. What is the next big thing what we are expecting from Kancor?
We are working on several new products that goes beyond just spices, because as I said, that the brain of botanical processing is here, and therefore we are extending it to nutraceuticals, natural colors, antioxidants, personal care products, and these are all IP patent possible products. So you actually go higher up in terms of the value chain and being closer to the customers in terms of producing products which are more relevant for the future. So you always, you take 10, you look at 10 projects for the future. If 5 or 6 of them work, that's great. Okay, and that's how we are working on, because you have all the resources in terms of people, the human resources. Yeah. Kerala has probably one of the best human resources in all of India, undoubtedly. Even if you look at Info Park and Techno Park, some of the best people in IT systems actually work there. It is not recognized much because we don't like to tom what we do. That's always been how the Malayalis work. But that's our niche, and people respect us for that, and which is why if the world wants spices, they come to Kerala.
Okay. ആക്ച്വലി നമ്മളിപ്പോൾ പറയുകയാണെങ്കിൽ നമ്മുടെ എവിടേക്കൊക്കെയാണ് ഈ പ്രൊഡക്റ്റുകൾ പോകുന്നത്, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഒരാൾക്ക് പെട്ടെന്ന് മനസ്സിലാവണം എന്തൊക്കെ പ്രൊഡക്റ്റുകളാണ് കാൻകോർ കൊടുക്കുന്നത്?
നേരത്തെ ഞങ്ങളിത് സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്തപ്പം ദ ബിഗസ്റ്റ് മാർക്കറ്റ് വാസ് US. ഇപ്പോൾ US നിന്ന് പിന്നെ യൂറോപ്പായി. ഇപ്പം the fastest growing market is Asia, Southeast Asia. Europe and US is probably growing at 2%, 3%. Asia is growing at 11-12%. Oh. Okay, so the technologies which the Western world used to use 20 years back, those technologies have now come to Asia. And if you look at I would say 65% of the world's population is now in Asia. Okay, so this is where the growth is, and this is where all these new technologies are being used. And food habits have changed, and that's a good thing, because then you are using more spices. Tastes have changed. Today, if you go into any Western city anywhere in the world, you can get Indian cuisine, you can get Asian cuisine, Indian, Thai, Vietnamese cuisine. They're all so popular, and they all use our spices. And our own, Asia, there's a lot of migration happening. So over a period of time, the usage has gone up. And this is what has led to this kind of a revolution, actually, the food habits, the changing food habits. Today you have every household has both the couples, the couples are working, and therefore there's very little time for cooking, and is more dependent on healthy sustainable processed food. It is kind of a dichotomy, but there is healthy processed food, and that is what is signifying the change, and we are ready for that.
Okay. ആ ഒരു റെഡി ടു കുക്ക് ഫുഡ് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഹെൽത്തി ഫുഡിലേക്കാണ് അടുത്ത കാൻകോർ പ്രൊഡക്ട്സ് പോകുന്നത് അല്ലേ?
That is where it is, and market wise, like I said, Asia is fastest growing, so focus on Asia and Asian cuisine.
Great.
From the food part of it. Then you also have natural colors. So we are replacing synthetic colors with naturals, shelf life extensions in food and even other areas. Personal care is huge, and naturals, botanicals are taking a place in personal care as well. So that's an area where we are focusing on too.
So spice and food industry il ഏറ്റവും വലിയ ഘടകമാണ് R&D. How strong is Cancor's R&D?
Yeah, if you look at several new technologies that have been benchmarked as part of the industry, most of it has come, I would say, from Kancor. In fact, if you look at the industry itself, if you look at our other players in the industry, there are many of them who would have been part of Kancor at some point of time.
Okay.
So it's kind of, you start something and then it has grown, which is in a good way, because for me personally, I would say that there is enough space for everybody to grow, and we have all grown. In terms of technologies, one has to keep evolving. The technology that we had in 1969 is not the technology that we had in 1980, in 90, in the 2000s, and now we are beyond that. So how do we keep improving on these technologies? So again, I would say, me saying it is not good enough. When you actually walk through the innovation center, you will realize where we have invested the most.
Yes.
That you will see. I will leave it for you to judge for yourself what Kancor has done.
യെസ്, നേരത്തെ സൂചിപ്പിച്ചതുപോലെ ടെക്നോളജി ഇന്നോവേഷൻ R&D ഇതാണല്ലോ എല്ലാ ഇൻഡസ്ട്രിയും ഡിഫൈൻ ചെയ്യുന്നത്, സ്പെസിഫിക്കലി ഫുഡ് ഇൻഡസ്ട്രി.
And the speed for change, it has to change. You can't wait for too long, by then you are redundant.
യെസ്, ഗ്രേറ്റ്. സോ നമുക്കറിയാം കൂടുതൽ സ്റ്റാർട്ടപ്സ് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഓൺട്രപ്രണർഷിപ്പ് ഈ ഒരു സ്പൈസ് ഇൻഡസ്ട്രിയിലേക്കും ഫുഡ് ഇൻഡസ്ട്രിയിലേക്കും കടന്നു വരുന്നുണ്ട്. ദർ ആർ ലോട്ട് ഓഫ് കമ്പനീസ് ഓൾസോ വർക്കിംഗ് ഇൻ ദാറ്റ്. പക്ഷേ ചിലത് സക്സസ് ആവുന്നുണ്ട്, ചിലത് ഫെയിൽ ആവുന്നുണ്ട്. അത്തരത്തിലുള്ള ആളുകളോട് വാട്ട് ഈസ് യുവർ ടേക്ക് അവേസ് ടു ദം അല്ലെങ്കിൽ അഡ്വൈസ് ടു ദം?
Do not follow the commonly used path. If you are coming into this industry and you want to succeed, do something which is very different and unique, that creates a statement for yourself. You don't try and do what everybody else has done just because the other person has been successful. That person has been successful, you are seeing the success after 50 years of those companies' existence. So don't try to emulate them, because you don't want to be waiting 50 years for your success. You need to look at something which you believe can create a niche, and you can probably work with one product or two products, that's good enough. But focus, absolute focus, and you have to bring in something very unique and different in terms of IP, in terms of process technology, in terms of I would say processing capabilities or efficiencies. You need to be different, otherwise you are just one among the many people who ran the race. If you want to come out a winner, you need to have a different strategy for it.
Okay. ഒരു 50 വർഷം ഒരു സംരംഭം നിലനിർത്തുക എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ഇറ്റ്സ് നോട്ട് ഈസി. അതൊരു ഒരിക്കലും എളുപ്പമല്ല. ഒരു സംരംഭകൻ എന്ന നിലയിൽ എന്താണ് സർ ഒരു 4-5 ക്വാളിറ്റി പറയുകയാണെങ്കിൽ ആസ് എൻ ഓൺട്രപ്രണർ, വാട്ട് ഈസ് യുവർ ക്വാളിറ്റി?
Very tough question, because sometimes you don't realize it. What is it that has helped you stay on board for so long? I would say the first is patience. Okay. Patience is number one. Second is put the right team in place. Identify the right people and put them in place. Work towards an absolute common goal. All of you should speak the same language when you say that this is what I want to do and this is where I want to be in the next 5 years. Your team and you should be speaking the same language and dreaming the same dreams. It can't be different. Fourth one is you will face challenges from completely unexpected quarters, and sometimes you may think why. But the answer to that is how to overcome it.
Solution.
Yes, find the solution, because there is nowhere in life are you going to be in a place or a situation where you will never have any problems. All you can make sure is that those problems are small enough. And I always have faith that whatever somebody throws at you, the Almighty does not put you in a place where you cannot handle it. So you can handle it. Go handle it. Face it. That makes you stronger. What cannot break you makes you stronger. That's my philosophy. And don't ever go by when somebody says you can't do it, don't go by that. You need to have your self-confidence and confidence in your people, the belief in your people that we can do it. There are several situations where somebody told me, Geemon, you can't be doing this, it will fail. Yeah, you can hear all their views, but I have a conviction that it will work, and it has worked. So you need to have faith in yourself and your team. Okay. This would be how I would summarize what you need to be doing to stay on for a long period of time. In fact, there are only 3% of the companies that have hit 50 years. Globally, this is a global average. Only 3% of the companies ever established have crossed 50 years of age.
Generation wise നോക്കുകയാണെങ്കിൽ കാൻകോറിൽ ഇത് എത്രാമത്തെ ജനറേഷനാണ് ഈ ഒരു ബിസിനസ് ഇൻഡസ്ട്രിയിലുള്ളത്? ഫോർ ദ പാസ്റ്റ് 55 ഇയേഴ്സ് എല്ലാ ജനറേഷനും പാസ് ചെയ്ത് പോകും. ആൻഡ് എല്ലാവരുടെയും എന്തെങ്കിലും ഒരു സക്സസ് ഫാക്ടർ വെച്ചിട്ടാണ് എല്ലാവരും കടന്നു പോയിരിക്കുന്നത് അല്ലേ? ഇത് എത്രാമത്തെ ജനറേഷനാണ്?
Kancor is now part of the 5th generation of the Mann family, which started in 1871. Cancor's legacy goes back to 1857. So there have been many generations. Each generation has left its mark. The last generation, Mr. John Mann, who's just stepped out as the president of Mann, his generation, last 40 years, and I've worked very closely with him, was all about changes in the global landscape, in terms of politics, in terms of regulations, in terms of technology. Huge impact. And how Kancor has been able to adapt to those changes, meet and also exceed the benchmarks and the limits set by the regulatory bodies, engage with regulatory bodies. So one of the key factors of this generation has been the level of engagement and involvement of each of us as professionals, as business owners with the authorities. That has been the biggest change. Industry associations, today we cannot do without all of these voices coming out for the industry, talk to the government, understand their issues, how do we meet midway through to ensure that business thrives, safety, new technologies, everything are incorporated for growth.